Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Have Your Say Club's Tete a Tete show, a show in which we talk to the members of our club regarding their life experiences, even their expertise, and sometimes the knowledge and the information they would like to share with us. First of all, before starting a conversation, I would like to wish everyone a very happy Lohri on behalf of Have Your Say Club. Festivals indeed are an integral part of a life. I can still hear some dolls, beating away in the background of my house. So these festivals bring vibrance into our lives, and we celebrate them with a lot of enthusiasm. But then, apart from celebrating festivals, it is also very rejuvenating to understand the concepts, the theories behind these festivals. So, to understand more about Sankranti, which is the festival tomorrow, we have invited a very special member of our club today. She is a retired Kendriya Vidyalaya principal. She is an accomplished singer. Yet her quest to become a better singer doesn't end. She is working hard to get a degree in music. She is none other than Mrs. Pragati Dikshit. Pragati ma'am, welcome to the Tete a Tete show.
Namaskar, ma'am. A happy Lori and a very happy Makar Sankranti to everyone from HYS. Have your say, Jaipur.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you for the wonderful introduction that you have given. I never expected that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Since we have started on the note of Lohri, so we have Sankranti tomorrow. So these are consecutive festivals. So would you like to let us know what is the connection between Lohri and Sankranti?
uh, they are nearly the same. Like Sankranti is there in every month. Very few people know about it, but every month has a Sankranti. But this Sankranti is very special because we in lunar calendar we see that this is the end of the winter season. So winter season is going off, and that is why we rejoice for that reason, and it makes it special. Makar Sankranti. When the sun doesn't move, but it is said to be that when there is a transfer or a migration of the sun rays from one zodiac sign to the other zodiac sign or the constellation, it is Sankranti. Means whenever you cross a boundary from one area to other, it is Sankranti. And when the sun crosses all the 12, it comes back from the time and then a circle is completed. So this Mahasankranti is specially known, I mean, as geographical phenomena, or we can call the constellations and all that. That's a bit boring topic, I know, but it has to be cleared because the sun rays travel from Tropic of Cancer till the Tropic of Capricorn. And according to the mythology, it was always said that the northern side belongs to the gods. The gods always stay in the northern area, and the demons or the Pitra, that is ancestors, they stay in the southern area. Therefore, nobody wants that he should die in the area in the period of Dakshinayan. So Uttarayan was a special thing for everybody. If you know the story of Bhishma Pitama, he was waiting on the bed of arrows for this particular day, Makar Sankranti, because that day it would start Uttarayan and it would bring moksha to him. So that was a thought why people gave so much importance to Makar Sankranti, because Makar Sankranti, the sun rays are directly 90 degrees on Makar Sankranti, that is Tropic of Capricorn. That is the hottest day in southern hemisphere. And they call it Uttarayan. Ayan is the hemispheres, the tropics that they travel from one place to the Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. That is the thing. So Mahasankranti was very important because it was the beginning of a spring season. It would always bring season, happiness. So that was it.
Yeah, I understand, ma'am. It has got a lot of geographical significance also,
Yes.
which we tend to not understand in most of the festivals. So I think
Yes.
Makar Sankranti has got a lot to do with the, the geographical situation also, and also the change in the weather which is going to happen now.
Weather. Yes.
Yeah. Now, when you mentioned Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer, I went back to geography in my school. So I think I better revise my geography also
Yeah.
after this. Moving at, ma'am, like we are using this word, like this festival, Sankranti, many times. So, what is the exact meaning of the word Sankranti?
Sankranti means a change in yourself. In change, wherever we mention a change, whether it is going from one period to another period, whether it is going from one place to another period place, that is Sankranti.
Mhm.
So here, when we see that the sun migrates from one place to other, the sun rays transfer from Capricorn and they start shifting towards the northern hemisphere. So this is Sankranti. And otherwise, if you see that wherever we say there's a Kranti, what is Kranti actually? Wherever you have a change of thoughts, also, it is again a Sankranti. And wherever there is a change, whether it is a mixture of the two things or it is a cross boundary areas, they are all related to the word Sankranti.
Amazing, ma'am. This is something which is enlightened us
Yes.
more. Ma'am, this festival, obviously, all the festivals bring back memories of childhood for all of us.
Yeah.
So, I belong to the state of Maharashtra.
Yeah.
So, there, as children, we remember we used to carry til, that is sesame seeds,
Yeah.
and some good, and we used to distribute it to all the neighbors, and it was a fun activity. And in Rajasthan, I have seen this festival is a lot to do with kites. So I think every state has their unique way of
Unique
celebrating
way.
this festival. So would you like to shed light on the various ways like people celebrate throughout India?
Definitely, Aparna, because India is such a huge country. I mean, in area wise, if you see that, and there are so many differences, not only in the case of um languages, but the physical features also are different. And then, the area, climate, everything is different. If you compare north and south, east and west, they're totally different. That is why when we come to the celebration, celebration always is related to the climate. It is also related to the crops. So one thing common which we find everywhere is that is it is a harvest festival, because India was a had in agrarian economy, so everything dependent upon agriculture. When people had good harvest, it was a method and it was a system in Indian culture that whatever you get, you should offer it to the god first. And because for all crops and harvest, sun was the most important god. And during the Rigved period also, because in Rigveda we never had all the other idols, we only worshipped sun, wind, and every other natural phenomena that we had around us. So that is the time when it started. And we offer everything to the Agni. Agni represents the sun god. That is why we see that when we see Lohri festival in Punjab, they have a bonfire and they offer til, gur, that is all sesame, and gur, jaggery, and then corn and groundnuts. So all the things that are available in this season are offered to the god. So there they celebrate it in that way. In South, it is a Pongal celebration and it continues for 4 days. Here we have for 1 or 2 days, but in South, Pongal is celebrated for the whole 4 days. First day is like we do it in Diwali. They clean their houses, they decorate their houses. That's the first day. Then second day, they will have their they have the prepared in a clay pot. They prepare kheer that is made up of rice, milk, and jaggery. And they boil the milk to that brim that it should fall off in the Agni. So this is also a way of offering something good to the Agni. So say it is common in Punjab Agni, Pongal again Agni. So somewhere or the other, things differ a little, this and that. Similarly, they have one more festival in Pongal, that is Mattu Pongal, where they worship the ox, because it helps them in agriculture. And then the last day they celebrate, it is among the relatives, where they give out gifts to each another. This is how they have the 4 days celebrate. In the northeastern areas, we find that it's the Bihu, and they have three Bihus, not one, two, three. They have three Bihus, and that is according to the harvest season. One comes in the month of April, the other comes in the month of October, and the third one comes in the month of January. That is that coincides with the Sankranti festival. So again, it is the community coming together, celebrating, having competition, dancing, singing, feasting, everything goes together. In Gujarat, they have the same things, offering prayers, giving something to others, gift out, feasting, family get together, everything is the same. The only difference is in Rajasthan is kite in Jaipur and Gujarat.
Yes, ma'am. When I'm listening to this conversation, ma'am, like we always have this feeling, and we always discuss that India is woven through a common thread. So even
Yes,
though we might celebrate in a little bit different manner,
but
but
the main
yeah, but the concept and the
concept is same.
idea of sharing
Share.
comes. Yeah, so
Yes,
we are really woven through a common thread.
yes.
That's amazing, ma'am. And one more thing I would really like to know a lot, ma'am, because I have seen in Rajasthan, because Sankranti, I have seen it's all about kites.
Kind.
Even before the festival, the whole market is flooded with kites,
Yes,
even
yes,
1 week before. So,
yes, yes.
what is the significance of kites during this festival?
See, this is the festival where you can stand in sunlight.
Mhm.
Other than this festival, there is no other festival where you can stand in the sunlight like this. Even in Diwali days, the sun is very bright and you cannot stand for a long time. Okay. Actually, it started from Delhi. It was the Sultan of Delhi who started it first. It was a means of entertainment for the people, the royal people. Everyone could not have kites in those days. Later on, after some time in 18th century, it passed off to the Nawabs of Awadh, and there it was popularized. And there they don't call patang. In Lucknow and all these, they used to call kankawa. I still remember the Premchand story where they referred it as a kankawa. What is kankawa? This kankawa is patang. They called it like this. And from Awadh, I think the Nawabs of Junagadh or the Nawabs of Hyderabad, I don't know exactly which, but it was a royal tradition. And from the royal tradition as a game, it started from one place to other. And because you know that Jaipur was connected to the Mughals, Mansingh was in the Akbar's reigns, so from there, it may have been transferred as a royal game and then slowly and gradually, because it was in the old city. So it became very popular in the old city. Today, also the old city, I mean the city and the walls inside the wall, the pink city inside the wall, that is having more kites, and you have festivals and there are competitions. Even the ladies are there on the, you know, top of their voice, they're screaming vokata vokata, and they enjoy like anything. Then there are music around. Just you must go once and see that kite festival inside the wall city.
Yes, of course. I have.
It's really fun to watch it, though
Yes,
I cannot fly kite at all. I cannot. But my daughter and my husband, they do it well. They're experts.
yes, like we speak about expertise. So this is one expertise we talk about in another show.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a competition, you know. There's a competition. Okay, who cuts and how far and how many. They just keep on counting. 10, 20, 50, kitti kati. And
Yeah.
you know, the moment you are flying your kite, somebody else kite will be just here, here, it will fall somewhere else. So in that speed, they come up.
Yes, ma'am. That's the spirit of any festival. Like
Yes,
people enjoy it, people have fun. I think
they
Sankranti is
have
one
fun.
of the best festivals to enjoy because then you
And
have a lot
they
of fun.
enjoy it more when they catch the ones which are falling down.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, of course. I think naughty nature comes out. Yeah. Moving forward, ma'am. We mentioned about kites. Now, apart from kites, there are a lot of customs also we follow during Sankranti. We
Yes,
would
yes.
really like to know, ma'am, like how do you celebrate Sankranti?
See, in Maharashtra, because I'm a Maharashtrian, so we know that in Maharashtra, there is a custom that all the ladies, they give gifts, and that is in a form of, again, I just as told you that in it's a clay pot, which is very important because it has a deeper meaning. See, a body is like a clay pot. It has to go back to the nature. So everything that we are giving to others is in such a way that today we are here, tomorrow we may not be there, but then the culture should continue with it. So somewhere it is a reminder to a human being that, see, everything is mortal. One day it has to go out. And I'll show you something which I have prepared for tomorrow.
Really, ma'am. We would
See,
love to.
I'll show you if you can see it. I don't know how much you will be able to see that.
Yes, we
Can
can.
you see this?
Yes, ma'am. We can
These
see
are
them.
clay pots, and in that, inside that, they are colored with turmeric and that kumkum. And then it has to be filled up with khichdi, that is dal and moong ki dal and rice. And then there are some seasonal fruits and groundnuts and til gur laddu and a coin, and then bindis, of course, haldi and kumkum. It has to be given to everyone. I mean, whosoever, at least five are mentioned, that at least five can be given up. कम से कम इतना 5 लोगों को तो दे ही दो. And then you give out some gift with it. I mean, that can be anything. That can be anything. You need not have very heavy gifts or very expensive gifts. You can even give a packet of groundnuts. You can give anything, a simple bindi packet, or I mean, smallest thing to the highest thing you can go. It is up to you. But they always try to prefer that a vegetable or a groundnuts or something related to the agriculture sector. That's it.
That's, ma'am. Again, we have spoken about the spirit of sharing and every
Yes, and
very
till
beautiful.
and gur, these two are the most important thing all over India, whether it is in Punjab, Haryana, Bihu, or everywhere. Because till, sesame, it's oil seed. It gives you that smoothness. Okay, oil gives you smoothness. So everyone requires oil also to keep your bones fit, to keep your skin glowing. That is also important. And seasoned oil also has medicinal values with it. Jaggery is sweet. You are spreading sweetness. You are distributing sweetness, because earlier we only had jaggery in the name of sweets. All sweets were prepared with the help of jaggery. There was nothing like known as sugar in our country earlier. But later we started using sugar. But today also, the importance of jaggery in Ayurvedic is so much that I cannot define about it, because many healings are done. Even wounds are healed up with the help of turmeric and good jaggery and juna and all these kind of things. So jaggery became very important because it is, you are spreading sweetness, happiness. When it is sweet, you are happy, and happiness to be spread up all over. So that is the importance of til and good.
Yes, ma'am. It is indeed very important that we have all these
Yes,
like nutritional, benefits.
yes,
And these are portrayed through our festivals so beautifully. They are
beautiful.
encouraging us to have healthy food through festivals. So this
Festivals.
is a beautiful way of conveying to people. And I understand the concept of good very much, ma'am, because nowadays on the net, or even when we have people talking around us, people are migrating from sugar to good
To good
because of the benefits. So,
benefit.
and in fact, we have been having good since centuries, but then
Hmm.
we migrated in between. So I think this festival also makes us look back to our roots, where we can go back and inculcate those habits which will help us further. So I think this festival has a lot to offer, other than the emotional bonding, even the benefits, like we are moving from one phase to another.
Another
So,
phase.
yeah,
Yes.
this is the way we should.
From winter to spring.
Yeah, yeah, we should.
And what I'm happy about it, Aparna, I'm so happy that at least the young people have started understanding and recognizing the importance of these festival in a very traditional way, and they are coming back to the roots after recognizing that how important our cultural culture was, and how important it is to follow these practices for our benefit, for healthy living, and for having a very prosperous life, as well as a good environment and nature around us. And it is, helping the all farmers also. It is helping farmers. It is giving importance to the farmers also. So that is why I feel I'm very proud of this young generation.
Okay, ma'am. Indeed, it's a really fruitful discussion today, ma'am. Like we have understood our traditions and how important they are, and how our festivals help us, in identifying all these things. Like before we close our conversation, ma'am, I would like to know, like what message would you like to give us regarding this festival?
Yeah, this festival, I would like to tell one thing important which I missed somewhere. Whenever there is a seasonal change in India, according to the Ayurveda and according to the traditional ways also, there was always an Abhyanga Snan which always told you that you must have a oil massage before having your bath. So that is very important. Every fourth month, at least, if you take that care of yourself, it is very beneficial for everyone. Okay, number one. Then second thing I want to tell that people that those who are flying kites, please be very careful about birds, because lot of birds are killed during that kite festival. So please, whenever you see that there are some birds who are wounded, please call the helpline. The bird helpline is there, and you may call them so that they can pick up and save some of the birds at least. Those who are seriously injured, they die immediately, but at least some of the birds can be saved, because they are the ones who clean the nature. They eat out the insects. Okay, so the food chain will be there if you save the birds. So please don't disturb the food chain. It's a request to everyone. And then the third thing, when you eat the seasonal fruits, I mean, if it is a bear or it is a dead palm or any other seeds like guava, please don't throw the seeds away. Try to save at least some of the seeds, keep it with you, and whenever you are going on a trip, or you are on an adventure trip, or you are going to the mountains, or if you are traveling on a bike also and going by the roadside where you can see the land which is barren, just throw the seeds in those areas. Just simply throw. Nature will take its own way, and out of 100, at least 4 trees will grow definitely. At least 4. 25% also if we count, and not even 25, if we count even 10%, if 2 trees are grown by your efforts, it is something you're helping the nature. Please do if you can.
Indeed, ma'am, a very beautiful message, rather, three beautiful messages, ma'am. And I totally agree, ma'am, that any festival we celebrate, not only Sankranti, it should be environmental friendly. And,
Environmental friendly.
yes, ma'am, and it should be, we have to be careful not only towards humans but also other beings which are on this earth. And a very beautiful message you have given, that if we find some bird injured, we can call the helpline. I think this is something we all will remember.
Yeah,
I
I
think
can send the message on the HYS platform
you can
and
share
the
it with
phone
the map.
number, which I can share with everybody else.
Yeah.
And one more thing, that is when we prepare bonfires, earlier in our country, during the yagna system or having the fire anywhere for worship, we used to use only the dry woods. We never used to cut the trees or branches for that. So please take care whenever you're having fire around.
Yes, ma'am, we will
So
surely do
protect the
that.
trees.
And it's really, really an discussion which can go on and on. And we will never want to stop
Sure.
hearing all the stories.
But there's a time limit for everything.
So we have a constraint, and hence, I would really thank you, ma'am, that you have taken time from today, because today is a busy day
I
for
know.
preparing for tomorrow. So you
But
take time, ma'am,
I,
and
I
share.
am thankful to you, Aparna, for making it so easy, because I really wanted to share these things. But there wasn't any platform where I could share this up. And you made the things for me so easy. And that is why I agreed for the interview.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aparna.
It has been really fruitful, ma'am, talking to you. And I again thank you for giving your precious time. That was a conversation with Mrs. Pragati Dikshit on the festival of Sankranti. Having fruitful discussions will always add value to our thoughts and, of course, our life. And we at Have Your Say Club endeavor to do this through our shows. So, we'll be back again next Thursday with another amazing show of Tete a Tete. Until then, keep safe, be vigilant, and celebrate with caution. Thank you.
Thank you, Aparna ma'am.